The Sweetest Thing Ever, a two-part book. Part 1, The Beginning of Love. Chapter 1, The Encounter. David had always believed love was a distant dream, something meant for others, not for him. As a photographer, he found solace behind the lens, capturing moments rather than living them. But everything changed when he met Elena at an art exhibit. Her laughter echoed in his mind long after they parted, her eyes sparkling with a passion for life that ignited something within him. Over coffee, their conversations flowed effortlessly, and David realized that their meeting felt like fate. With every shared dream and ambition, his heart began to open in ways he never imagined. Chapter 2, Love's Sweetness. As days turned into weeks, David and Elena's connection blossomed. She became his muse, the subject of his photographs, and the source of joy in his life. Every time he captured her smile, he felt a sense of completeness he had never experienced before. Elena, too, felt a profound bond with David. Their late-night talks and shared aspirations created a world that belonged only to them, a world filled with love and possibility. They reveled in their moments together, knowing that they were building a foundation for something beautiful. Chapter 3, The Struggle. However, their idyllic relationship was soon tested by the realities of life. Elena's demanding job in fashion required her to travel often, leaving David to grapple with the emptiness of her absence. He began to doubt whether their love could endure the distance. Whenever they reunited, the joy was palpable, but so was the fear of what awaited them once they were apart again. David's heart felt heavy, and he often wondered if he could bear the weight of separation for much longer. Chapter 4, Becoming Whole. David had once viewed himself as incomplete, but Elena's love transformed him. She made him feel valued, cherished, and powerful, as if he were a king. Each moment spent together was filled with laughter and deep connection. They shared their dreams, hopes, and fears, and with every shared moment, David realized that Elena was not just his partner, she was his other half, making him feel whole in a way he never thought possible. Their love grew deeper, strengthening their bond against the challenges they faced. Chapter 5, A Test of Faith. One evening, after Elena returned from a lengthy work trip, David sensed a change in her. She was distant, her mind seemingly elsewhere. The silence that had once felt comfortable between them became suffocating. They both struggled to communicate their feelings, and unspoken tensions began to mount. David felt a growing fear that their love was slipping through his fingers. He longed for the closeness they once shared but was unsure how to bridge the widening gap between them. Chapter 6, Breaking Apart. The breaking point came when Elena finally revealed the truth. "David, I've been offered a job abroad," she said, her voice quivering. "It's a dream opportunity, but it means we'll be apart even more." David's heart sank. He was torn between supporting her aspirations and the gut-wrenching fear of losing her. Days passed filled with strained conversations and forced smiles. They pretended everything was normal, but the weight of the impending separation loomed over them like a storm cloud. Chapter 7, The Decision. David knew they had to make a choice. They could either allow her to go and risk losing everything they had built together or ask her to stay and face the consequences of resentment. In a heartfelt conversation, they agreed that neither of them could hold the other back. They had to pursue their passions but wanted to ensure their love would survive the distance. They promised to find a way back to each other, vowing to keep the connection alive. Chapter 8, Apart Yet Together. As weeks turned into months, David and Elena navigated the complexities of their long-distance relationship. Phone calls, video chats, and surprise visits became their new normal. Each reunion was filled with love and laughter, but the reality of separation was always just beneath the surface. David cherished every moment with Elena, feeling that their love was stronger than the miles that divided them. But with each goodbye, he felt the pang of loss deeper than before, leaving him anxious about what lay ahead. Chapter 9, Love's Fragility. Despite their commitment to each other, distance began to wear on their relationship. Misunderstandings cropped up, fueled by the lack of communication. David felt as if he were falling apart, and the foundation they had built together began to tremble. He missed Elena's voice, the comfort of her presence, and the warmth of her smile. He knew they needed to address the issues threatening their love, but he was afraid that doing so would only push them further apart. Chapter 10, The Final Choice. One evening, after a particularly tough argument, they found themselves at a crossroads. "Is our love strong enough to endure this?" David asked, his voice heavy with emotion. Elena's eyes brimmed with tears as she realized the truth. They had to confront the reality of their situation. In that moment of vulnerability, David recognized that Elena was more than just someone he loved, she was the sweetness in his life. Yet, love alone might not be enough to sustain them. As they grappled with the uncertainty of their future, David made a promise: they would fight for their love, no matter the outcome. But just as they began to find clarity, a shocking revelation about Elena's job offer threatened to tear them apart for good. Suspenseful ending for Part 1. The chapter ends with David receiving a cryptic message about Elena's new job, hinting at complications that could shatter everything they've built together.